Let's see. Hang on one second. There we go. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Random Files. We haven't done anything in a while. I've been so busy. There's been multiple things going on in my life. Um, all right. There's been a lot going on in my life. Just a ton of stuff. My uncle passed away, and I had to deal with that. And May is a hard month for me. A lot of people that I really care about passed away in the month of May, and yeah, it's a really tough time. Um, and then we have this merger that's going on with our company, and it's just been a nightmare. It's I know it'll be okay in the end, but it's just in the meantime, it's been nerve wracking, frustrating, and it's been a lot. It's been a lot to deal with, like almost too much. And I'm just really sick of it. I'm tired of dealing with it, and I just want things to get better. And so, yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Let's look at some of the comments here, see who's in the chat. Some of the paratroopers are in here. And if you're familiar with the channel, then you know, PRT, obviously you're a paratrooper, you know about Paranormal Roundtable, our main channel. The Dead Zone Transmission, that's Nellie's handle, but also her show, Dead Zone Transmission. Then we have True Crime Paranormal, which we haven't done much with that lately either because they won't monetize it and they won't really give us a reason. It's just whatever. They give us like these weird excuses, whatever, fine. But it was a project that I was doing, and I was happy with it. I was proud of it. I thought we were making progress. So we're going to just move that completely to Rumble and see if we can build an audience for it. And yeah, we're hoping that here on this channel we can get something going. We're now monetized on here. I don't know though. People look. Yeah, you can now donate on here. This is fully monetized. Cool. Thanks. So that's also cool. We don't have ads or anything on this channel yet, but we are monetized and ready to go. But been waiting on my soon-to-be co-host Anna Choate, who is she's been going through surgeries, and then she's been going through, and you know, whatever. She's a very conservative person. And we're going to be doing this show together as soon as she's ready. I'm just waiting on her, and she'll be helping navigate through a lot of this, like the topics and things like that. And I'm just going to be hopefully bringing my expertise, whatever you want to call it. So there's a lot going on in the world. I guess we could start with that. I mean, we have the war going on still with Iran, right? That's still happening. It's still like the Strait of Hormuz is whatever. And, you know, we're putting all this, Trump is basically saying, you know, we're going to bomb the crap out of you even harder if you don't make peace with us. And that sounds so ridiculous. Because anybody with a brain, unless you're, you know, one of these, and I'm not attacking boomers as a whole, but it tends to be boomers that actually support the war and support that country that is pretty much responsible for that war and most of our suffering. And people don't know the difference. They don't understand. They don't grasp. Like, they don't realize that it's as dangerous as that other religion that's radical. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't grasp it. So we have that going on. We have the war with Ukraine and Russia still happening. That's going on. And that has become ethnically cleansing of the Ukrainian people themselves. And I don't blame Russia. No, Russia has suffered as a nation immensely, immensely, not just from the wars and everything else, but since communism took hold of their country and became and turned it into the Soviet Union, they have suffered untold suffering. In particular, the Christian, Orthodox Christian in particular, were just, I mean, killed in mass by Bolshevism, which was predominantly the six-pointed star people who caused that. The NKVD was like, their leadership was like 88% or 89% six-point star people. And so they did all of these horrible things to the Christian population. And so they had to figure out other ways to manipulate and destroy and, Europe. And so kill two birds with one stone. Send your enemies from the Levant, the Middle East, and make them flood into Christian Europe and make the two ideologies and two cultures clash and destroy one another. This is their strategy. This is how they get things done. And they don't throw a rock and just hit one target. They hit many targets with what they do. And this has always been their MO. And still to this day, you have these smooth brain monkey people who are just like, oh, you know. And I am to the point now to where I have like such low tolerance for it, so little tolerance for the smooth brain, koala brain monkey people who can't figure it out. I just can't. I can't listen to them. I can't hear them. When someone really gets it and really understands, then I can deal with them to a degree. But I know I can tell too by how intelligent someone is by what they know about the situation. And if they're on that train where they're still like, well, Islam is the most dangerous threat, you know, whatever. I know they don't get it because they are turds, believe me, and they are a threat. They are a problem, but they are a million times less of a threat than the ones pulling the strings. And that is the people that I was just talking about. They have this control over this whole planet, and you can't do anything. I mean, like monetarily, you can't do anything to stop it. Now, you know, the title tells you moon landing, JFK. Two things about that, and we're going to get into that. The moon landing is a litmus test. How stupid are you? Right. Number one, if you are a person that believes in the moon landing, you probably believe that anything about the tiny hats is a conspiracy theory and it's dangerous and there's nothing wrong with those people and you are an evil bigot. That's going to be your opinion. So to me, that's like the litmus test of how stupid you are. How you are probably a person that wore a face diaper. That's probably who you are. That's what would be my guess. You probably wore it until probably a couple months ago. Maybe you finally came out of your house and got in your car by yourself without wearing it one day. You figured out you didn't die, so you're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I can go out of my house and actually not wear the face diaper, and I don't need to wear it when there's no one else in the car with me. Maybe my neighbors that were, you know, that on the right, maybe they were correct. Maybe they weren't just trying to get me killed, you know? But the moon landing still happened. Also, these same people, when you ask them about the JFK assassination, they'll always come up with this wacky, stupid, I mean, you know. So you ask people, who do you think killed the JFK? And they'll come up with some, hang on one second. They'll come up with some really ridiculous, like absolutely just asinine, wacky ideas about who did it and why and what. And I don't want to argue and fight with these people. They have the retardation, right? The main reason that he was killed is because he didn't want to give that particular country in the Middle East that starts all the shit. He didn't want to give them the atomic bomb. The the but they got it anyway. And I'm going to tell you how and who did it and what kind of transpired. Um, the greatest, if you say the greatest, I say the worst or the greatest, the evilest Mossad agent that ever lived. People probably don't even know who I'm talking about. You've heard of Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Right. Well, do you know who her dad was? Take a guess. He was the guy. He was the one who was responsible for. He was the one that was responsible for trading our secrets to Russia that led to them gaining the nuclear bomb. Russia would probably not have gotten it. They would have eventually gotten it because they had a very good spy network. But Ghislaine Maxwell's dad, Robert Maxwell, who, if you look him up and you just read what the BS says on the whatever, they're just going to tell you that he was born. I don't even know his freaking name. His real name is like Ludwig or something. I can look it up, dude. It's too much. Jan Ludwig Haka Hook, whatever, some shit. Blah 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 blah. Just look him up real quick. Okay, so here's what it says about this guy. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was Robert Maxwell. He's Czechoslovakian born. Yeah, I knew he wasn't. He wasn't British. They always pretend to be. He says a controversial Czechoslovakian born British mogul, media mogul, publisher, and member of parliament. Once one of the UK's most powerful press barons. Okay, they always control the media. His life ended in scandal and mystery when he died at sea in 1991. Yeah, I'm sure. Shortly before the collapse of his heavily indebted corporate empire, like he ever paid any ounce of his debt. Why would you? Your people own the world. You don't have to. So anyway, it says here he survived the Holocaust, fled to Britain. How many? So many of them survived. That's what's weird too. Like supposedly there were all these ones that died, but then they all survived too. They're all these survivors. I don't really kind of confused by that too. It says he later built a massive publishing empire. Pergamon Press, yeah, that was pretty popular. Daily Mirror says financial scandal following his mysterious disappearance and drowning off the Canary Islands from his yacht Lady Ghislaine. It was discovered that he had embezzled hundreds of millions from his companies, pension funds to prop up his businesses. And espionage rumors. Long after his death, allegations frequently surfaced that he had secretly worked as an intelligence operative for various agencies, most notably Israel's Mossad. Oh, allegations. We've never been able to quite prove this bullshit. We just can't. We don't know if he really did. I mean, did he really do it? I mean, there's a mountain of evidence this high that says he did. And I mean, then there was him saying that he did many times when he got drunk and did cocaine with strippers. But I mean, he could just be bragging, right? And that's definitely not why he mysteriously disappeared. And the Soviet released documents that say that, hey, yeah, he sold us the secrets. He gave them to us. Yeah. We actually met him in Tel Aviv, and then he came to Moscow and gave him, yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, he actually wrote a lot of it in Yiddish. Really? Well, maybe he did it. Your thought about that? Maybe that's why we have Blankstein's files, who was also a Assad agent who did. I mean, Common Core math and all being what it is, I just have a hard time believing that, because you know why? This fella believes in the moon landing. And if the moon landing happened, Well, gosh darn it, golly gee willikers, I doubt that Robert Maxwell. I mean, come on, you know, it's just a bunch of bull crap. I mean, why would you change your name from Jan Ludwig Hock? Why would you change your name after surviving the Holocaust? Why would you change your name to Robert Maxwell? And then he goes to England, where a lot of surnames like Fisher. Fisher is a very big one. Fisher, and then Maxwell is another one. Like Maxwell House Coffee, you know, it's basically that. And then, of course, Davis. Those are and Phillips. Those four are four of the biggest, right? The same people that would do mental gymnastics to try to prove that some sort of royal prince was Jack the Ripper, instead of just saying it was the kosher butcher who did it, right? Because God forbid we should say he did it, right? Aaron Kosminski. Oh, I forgot. Through the magic of CERN and the Mandela effect, he was a barber now. A barber, yeah. And of course, through that same magic, you are correct, sir. Ed McMahon never worked for Publishers Clearinghouse. No, he was an insurance agent. Yeah. I mean, the computer say, and what the computer say. Computer say what they say. They must be real, huh? And what maybe the computer say. Because, you know, you got the retardation. That's what happens in your brain. And you believe it. How many of you think, what do you think about the JFK assassination, right? Do you even know when it happened? What year did the JFK assassination happen? Do you know what year the moon landing happened? Most people don't even know these things. They don't know the most basic things, because next month is the anniversary of the moon landing. I know the exact day of the moon landing. It's pretty easy because it's like right after my birthday, July 20th, 1969. The day that never happened. Cernsky's like 60s. Yeah, it pretty much covers it. Yeah. Then they said, a day that will live in infamy. We started so much shit with the Japanese, they finally decided to bomb our asses. 6 times they came, we told them, we're not going to mess with you. But yet we just kept handing their enemies weapons and supplies, and we were putting them on passenger ships and telling Japan, don't be trying to bomb those. Those are, and we're putting our own people's lives in danger. And Japan refrained for a while, and then they said, I think we have to go to war with you because you are as bad as a Godzilla. And then Roosevelt gets up there. Our days that will live in infamy. Now I can help my fat little piggy friend Winston Churchill fuck up the world. I can't stand FDR, and I hate Churchill with a passion that few can match. Stalin, maybe I can hate him as bad. But even Stalin, I mean, it's just Churchill was one of the most sickening, most disgusting, most vile human beings. And the Brits love him. They just love that guy. We won the war. And yes, and look at the rewards you're reaping. I've been stabbed. No, you aren't, mate. No, you've not been stabbed. No, you call that man a naughty word, and now you will bleed to death. Yeah, maybe we shouldn't have fought Germany. I don't know. Maybe you shouldn't have. You imprisoned Rudolf Hess for 46 years because he wanted peace. You know. What did we do, mates? What did we do? Oh, jeez. Got it wrong. But Churchill, you know, he's revered. That's an awesome guy. That's an awesome guy. Fat little pig. People like him, why do they live longer than they should? I don't even know. How long did he live? Let's look it up. Let's look up how long the fat piggy lived, Churchill. Let's look up Winston. I don't even know how long that shithead lived. Let's go to Wikipedia here. Jeez, son of a biscuit. I mean, look at the guy. Look at this fat, portly fuck. Look at this guy. Excuse my language. It is, fighting it, fighting it underground, and in the streets. We're gonna do some shit. We're gonna win the war. Golly. So the guy lived, I guess, 89 years, from 74 to 65. Was that 91 years? Jeez Louise, jeez, Willikers. Son of a bitch was 91 years old, dude. Tell me, how is that even possible when your blood is basically gravy and cookies? How do you dang, these evil bastards, dude. They give them the reward of long life. They let them live a long time. 91 years old, the son of a bitch. So that guy lives 91 years, basically. He's, he couldn't have dropped dead like in his 50s from just clogged arteries and from eating too much, fatty foods. Why? Like, how do you live to be 91? All the stress. He claims that he was under so much stress during the war. You know what I just thought about, though? It's probably because even though he was like 71 when the war ended, he's a sociopath. Yeah, you don't have that kind of stress if you're a sociopath. There's several people off the top of my head that I can tell you that believe in the moon landing. They don't believe in the Mandela effect, and they think that it was a great idea to get into World War II and the war that we have now. And guess what? They're all sociopaths. They are. I know three off the top of my head. I can think of three of them off the top of my head. And they are literally sociopaths. They're psychopaths, these people. I'm thinking off the top of my head. There's one guy I know, probably shouldn't even say his first name, but I mean, he's a friend of mine's husband, and he is a psycho, and he totally believed in the moon landing, totally believes in, supporting the Zionists. He totally believes that World War II was great and Churchill was awesome. This guy's like the whole package, right? He's not a liberal. He's not, he hasn't, he's not that bad, but he's pretty bad. And he's not interested in sports because to him, there's all these other important things he has to think about because he doesn't have the capacity to watch a sporting event and then go back into reality and just use it for what it's supposed to be. Just to, like tonight, I watched Spurs lose by 1. It was horrible. Major collapse. But guess what? Tomorrow when I get up, which will probably be 10 a.m., I'll be up by 10 a.m., no matter what time I go to bed, and I'll be doing what I got to do with my business and with everything I got to deal with. And I'll be back to reality. I'm already in reality right now. We're doing it right now. But not him. Not that guy. Two of these people are husbands of female friends of mine. And they are big time NPCs. One of them used to work for me. And like he's a moron. Like he is both of them work for me briefly. But they're morons. Horrible work ethic. They don't really work. They just kind of like dabble in it. And then their wives hold down full-time jobs. It's those kind of people. And then they have this opinion about things that they really should just shut up. They don't believe in the paranormal. They've never had any paranormal experiences according to them. But that's because they ignore it. And then they don't believe in the Mandela effect. The moon landing is absolutely real. Israel's our greatest ally. The easy one they always get right, like Islam is a threat. Like, there's no shit. Like you don't want these people street shitting, whatever. Yeah, no shit, really. Like that's a hard one to figure out. They don't really like communism. They're kind of like, no, I don't know, that's not good. You know, they're just such NPCs. They're just born to be enough of a stumbling block to cause problems for everybody because you hate them because they're so sickening and annoying, and you're trying to do your friend a favor by being around them. But they're so annoying that you hate them. And then the challenge is to not hate them, because that makes you a bad person. Right? So you shouldn't hate them. So I don't. I try not to. But if it ever pops up in my head, I'm like, when you think of them, you're thinking, yeah, that's NPC deluxe. Somebody said, Christian Erdon says, how did they get married? But the people who are not thinking correctly, right? I don't want to offend women on here and just say, well, they don't make good decisions. But yeah, I've seen men and women do it, though. They make bad decisions and marry people that they shouldn't. They just settle for garbage. And you can't even say like, well, they're decent looking people. Maybe that's why they did it. No. One of them looks literally like the Geico caveman. I'm not even joking. He looks like the Geico caveman. And the other dude just looks like he's just a goober. If you see him, you just go, man, that guy is a goober. And those are the kind of people. So these are the moonlanders. We'll call them that. We'll call them the moonlanders. Hang on one second. So you have that kind of person who believes in everything that we do. 9/11 was done by Saudis with some crayons and scissors, and it was a total justification to invade Iraq, or whatever era that they're invading at the time. Right? Totally justified. We should go in there because Bush said so. Because Bush is a fool who won't be fooled again. He's so smart. He's a smart man. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking. I'm using my big ears, thinking about some things that I think about. And what am I thinking when I was thinking? But at least he's not sniffing hair, right? That's the upside to him. The conservatives are always like, yeah, oh, he's did a great job. He's so smart. And that Hegseth and Vance, the kosher rangers, go kosher rangers. We're going to attack any enemy that will attack any of the tiny hats. If you're going after the tiny hats, you're in trouble. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're Candace. I don't care if you're Alex. I don't care. You could be those twins, the black ones. I don't know their names. But if you mess around with any of the tiny hats, you're in trouble. I'm telling you. I'm their Messiah. I'm their stand-in Messiah. What happened? What happened to MAGA? MAGA is dead. MAGA is now MIGA. And let me tell you something. These MIGAs is crazy. If you don't know what MIGA is, it's Make Israel Great Again, guys. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. Get with the program. Make Israel great again. It's a MIGA. Where you guys have been? The moon landing. Your anniversary is coming up. Next month. July 20th. Why have we never gone again? I don't know, because it's a lot of fuel and stuff, it's just, and now our phone technology, we don't have those cords anymore that reach all the way to the earth, so when you talk on the cell phone, it's like, hello, can you hear me? I'm up here in space, 5 million miles, I can't see, So what happens? Because the cord is not. We back then we used phones that had cords, right? And so we don't we now we're using cell phones and we don't have towers. We don't have, you know, AT&T and Verizon towers on the moon. So that it doesn't yeah, it's pretty duh. Thank you. Hey, that is my first donation on this channel ever. Art Trooper. Awesome. Love the name. I love you, Art Trooper. You're my first person that's ever donated on the show. First donation I've ever gotten. Arc Trooper. But you know, so what you do is you get a cordless phone from the 90s with the, you know, when you pull the antenna and you're like, hello, can you hear me? I am up in space, I'm cold as hell and lonely as can be. Hello. I just want you to know this is an amazing thing. I got no signal with this damn phone. Why am I surrounded by all these damn beeps? Who are these jeeps? There's a bunch of them everywhere. Every one of them's wearing a yarmulke. I don't understand. You think that's what he said? Actually, he did say that. Major Tom to ground control. It's just a cat with a astronaut helmet. He's floating by. What happened? Well, we got to the top of the earth, and well, now we're plummeting to our deaths. Goodbye, cruel world. Maybe next time we'll go to the moon. Because we didn't, and we haven't, and we won't. There's reasons. There's a lot of, I can think of 10 reasons off the top of my head. We're going to start naming them. We can start naming them right now. First and foremost, we can't get through the atmosphere. That's probably the main one. Second one is probably because, well, we don't have a ship that is even capable of, even if we did go beyond, we don't have enough fuel to get, yeah, that's probably the main. But then also, well, the moon is off limits to us. And I'm not even going to tell you why. Figure it out. Go watch Paranormal Roundtable. You'll know. Yeah. We get slapped, gangsta slapped right off of that fake rock. That artificial rock. You know. So yeah, Van Allen radiation belt wedge says it right there. See, here's the thing. I don't know what to tell you. I know that this is total BS. And these are the same people that will tell you that Henry Lee Oswald killed Kennedy. Some will even tell you he was radicalized by the communists in Russia. He was. He did live there. And he was used much like the guy that killed Charlie Kirk. Do I doubt that guy? I don't think he worked alone. No, I think that maybe he might have been involved or he was going to do it. And a lot can happen when you tell somebody, hey, if you don't go along with us, we're going to do something to everybody you care about. Then they take Jack Ruby, right? Another of the six-pointed people. And he's dying of cancer. What does he give a shit? He's also a gangster, or well, those people can't really be gangsters. They're just stand-ins. But anyways, he goes and he kills Kennedy, right? He kills him. So he kills Oswald. And he murdered Oswald conveniently before. Why would Jack Ruby, was he such a Kennedy fan? Kennedy, whose dad, Joe, absolutely hated the tiny hat people, who was on Germany's side during war. He was Irish. Hated Britain's guts. Hated Britain's guts. His dad gave money, arms, all kinds of stuff. He was a bootlegger. So the Irish would bring gin, right? They would bring whiskey, And guess what Joe Kennedy gave them? Guns. He was a gun running, bootlegging dude who also dabbled as a respectable businessman, made a lot of money, and did a bunch of money laundering. He was a total gangster, dude. I'm telling you. Joe's dad was even worse. This was Kennedy. This was John F. Kennedy and R.F. Kennedy and Robert F. Kennedy's dad, Joe, a devout supporter of the Germans during World War II. He was even responsible for several fire bombings in London and in Belfast during World War II. He committed terrorism. Yeah, it's the truth. And at the same time, he was playing the stock market and getting rich. The guy was smart, man. And he groomed his children to take over. And his target, tiny hats and Britain, because they were walking lockstep with one another. Yeah. Baba Yaga, thank you for that donation there. Thank you for this being the second person to donate to Random Files. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for being a listener. And Rick Dalton says, anybody who doesn't know we can go interstellar is behind the curve. Well, Rick, it doesn't happen the way that we don't get in spaceships and go to other planets. You fold time and space. They build stargates, dude. We do not travel in metal tubes to the moon. And I'm telling you right now, we don't go to the moon. There's a reason why we don't go there. I could do a whole show about that right now, but I'm not going to. Right? So let's stay focused up, Rick. Gravity falling forward. Okay. I'm going to tell you something. Okay. Here it is. Joe was giving them guns, weapons to attack Britain. This was even during the war. After Prohibition and everything was repealed, he was doing it in the 20s for the IRA. He did it in the 30s. And he continued to do it. It was, Kennedy, his son was so anti them. Why on earth would Jack Ruby be like, I love John F. Kennedy. I'm going to kill this man that killed him? And you're spoon fed this BS, absolute BS narrative. It blows my mind. This drink is like, it's coconut, but it's full of coconut pulp. Mm-hmm. There you go, Rick. Probably. You're right, Christian Aradano. I'm sure they do. Well, there's so many people talking about all of this stuff now. How can you just sit on the sidelines and pretend like it doesn't exist? I don't understand that. I can't grasp that. I don't get it. It's just what people do. Exactly, Tiger. I was on BMR last night. Every war that they have, they erase history. They knocked out buildings from Tartaria. My guest on the 15th, okay, that's Monday, is going to enlighten us because he's written books about it and he's got a huge following. He's from Britain, and his name is Guy Anderson. And we're going to get into it. He's been on my show before. I think it's time to bring him back, and so he can tell us more about Tartaria. And then I'm going to have Paul Sinclair and Paul Wallace and all these other people, Brits and Aussies, people who are doing good work, major work, who understand the nature of reality and understand what we're facing, what we're dealing with. When they when Kennedy was slain, these people, they were behind it. They did it. When 9/11 happened, they were behind it. They did it. This war now, they're behind it. They did it every time. The stock market crashed. Everything, every major event, it's them. It's been them all along. They do this and then they reset and they start over. And then everybody's just sitting here like a bunch of dumbfounded dipshits going like, what happened? Like nobody can figure it out. Like it's just so it's so hard to figure out. Silver going crazy, gold going crazy, everything, and then the corrections and everything else that happened. And we're all sitting here just totally confused. We can't figure out why these things happen. Oh, God. Yeah, Christian Aradona says those old buildings provided energy. They did. And Tesla knew it. That's why they destroyed him. Took his work. No. Yeah. And so there's so much of our world that is hidden to us. So much of this is just esotericism, and it's all just being, we're just hypothesizing and just saying, hey, this is what we think. But at one time, this was actual real knowledge. Was real knowledge. And I was talking about morphic resonance a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about this, how everything is connected. It's all connected. But people don't want that. They don't want that. They want to be comfortable. They want to believe that the people in charge have all the answers. Do you know why they're in charge? Because they're corrupt and they're smarter than us in the way that they're willing to do evil, and they understand the nature of reality because they understand the esotericism behind everything. They get sacred geometry. Even the base level ones know that when they do certain geometric patterns and say certain words, that things happen. The smarter ones understand vibration and sound and how those things create things and how they can manipulate. And when enough of them get together and do it, they can open up other worlds. Do you think that they have to have a supercomputer to build a Stargate to open it up? They can do a very crude portal. You can do it yourself. You could get one book. I'm not going to tell you which one because some people will go out and try it. And with that one book, you could open a portal. I don't recommend it. It could be a portal, but it might be very crude, very dangerous, and I would not recommend using it. But you could. And all it would take is one book. One book. Thank you for that. We appreciate that, Rick. But the problem is that when you open that doorway, it's usually a one-way ticket to somewhere. And if you don't get the coordinates exactly right, well, then you're screwed. And then whatever is on the other side, if they are of a different density, say the fourth density, they can come through. Yeah. You're probably not going to get something that's completely physical because it won't make it through that portal. You can go this way, but it won't be able to come this way, but unless it's a spirit. See, and that's a problem. But these people who are in charge, and I don't mean like Trump and these other people, maybe Bibi, but these people who are in charge, who actually do run the world and all the corporations and everything that they're in it, what they'll do is they will get people who are good at this, didn't know how to do this crap, and then they will do that. They don't need you'll see some movie where they're having like guys, military guys, with some computer, and their two things are facing each other, and electricity happens. They don't need any of that shit. All they need with those computers is to make sure that their numbers are correct. That's it. But you could do it with this. This is little magic box that solves the mysteries of the universe, man. What do you need? But it only solves the base level that corresponds with the matrix that we're living in, right? That's pretty much it. That's the problem. And these books that have this ancient knowledge, they are the elementary versions of these because, the Tartarian theory, which I don't believe that was actually called Tartaria. Like there was people called the Tartars, and that's what the region that was vacated by an empire. And then now it was at the time of those maps, it was run by the Tartars. So most of the knowledge has been taken away. So now all you have are the bits and pieces. 51%, I think it was 52% of the world's wealth was run by the Rothschilds at one time. That's staggering. That's over half of the world's wealth. When you have over half of the planet's wealth at your disposal, you will never run out of money. Your grandchildren's grandchildren will never run out of money. You can do and say anything you want. And it always makes me laugh when they say, oh, well, Hollywood's out of ideas. They're not out of ideas. There's as many ideas as there are sand in the beach, as there are stars in the sky, probably more. They can make as many, but they can't, though. They can't because they have an agenda. So they can only make movies about certain things because certain subjects will get your brain thinking, and your brain will start clicking, and then you'll be like, whoa, okay. I want to study that subject. What if I go and I read about this subject? Oh, shit. Then certain names pop up, and certain people you start seeing them as the culprits, and then you're like, oh, this is patternistic and problematic, not just for me and my brain, but the people that are in charge. And then you start to go, okay, I'm really starting to question everything, the nature of reality. Oh yeah, there was another thing about the Robert Maxwell. You know what else he did? Does anybody know what this guy is known for? Besides the espionage and the corporate, shenanigans and stealing money and selling our secrets to Russia, but pretty much all the evil, bad things of the world. You know what else he was responsible for? Our textbooks. Yes. This guy who sold us out to the communists and gave them our nuclear secrets, who basically stole money and scammed people, pensioners, old people, out of their money, who did all of these horrible things. But good luck explaining that to the boomers that he scammed. They're just going to be like, oh, he probably needed it. He's one of those chosen ones, Billy. He needed it more than we did. It's hard being a chosen berg. You should try it, Billy, but you can't because you're not one. Now go back to eat your goy slop, Billy. Stop complaining. Eat your kicks and like it. Oh, Grandpa's got to take a nap after I watch Archie Bunker. I just don't understand why all this crap is happening, all this stuff. Look what's going on in Ireland. All those Africans over there. Why are they there? Well, these people, that run the world, Grandpa, they kind of caused all that, and they created communism. And what? What are you talking about? Joseph Stalin and Lenin, John Lennon from the Beatles, they created communism. It was those damn Beatles. Lenin, yeah, him. John Vladimir Lenin. Okay. Eat your applesauce, you old fucker. Yeah, sure. Whatever, Grandpa, whatever you say. And you know what happens? Just let them believe what they want. Here's the Gen X over here with their dumbasses. Just let them believe what they want. They're old now. They're in their 70s and 80s. They abused the living shit out of all of us, beat us to half to death, killed a few of my friends even when they were children. Yeah, through neglect and well, one of my friends was starving and he ate rocks. Love those boomers. But we live, we survived, we forgive them. Just let them do whatever. Let them be. Why are you crying, Billy? Grandpa killed my cat. He killed your cat. Grandpa killed your cat. I'm gonna go talk to Grandpa. I'm so mad right now. Let me go sit over there. Trevor, whatever you name your kids now. They go, Dad, why did you kill Trevor's cat? Billy was in the way. Who's Billy? The boy who was in here. It was in here earlier talking. Really? So you killed his cat? Was that a cat? I thought it was a choo-choo train. Come on, Dad. Remember when you killed my dog? No, you remember that. You remember what you want to remember. You're a turd. You're going to hell because you don't believe in the Holocaust. That's what's going to happen to you. You married that Catholic girl, that Mexican. That's why Billy's the way he is. Like, what? Anyways, I'm going to vote for the one that supports God's people. Now back to watching Fox News. Yeah, let's keep going the way we are. Let's let them do what they want. Let them. Don't try to change them. Don't talk to them. Don't taunt them in any way. Don't challenge them. They'll get on Facebook once they figure out how to do it, and they will go on a campaign of terror against you. It's happened to me. Some boomers got together, and they weren't even the really old boomers. They were like they're like in their 60s, and they went on a rampage of terror against me. Still doing it too, from what I've heard. Still at it. Still going on a campaign of terror. Over there typing up everything they could think of. Judge Turner is a horrible person. He wants to send Islamic robots to eat our medication. That's who he is. He's a horrible bastard. He speaks out against God's chosen every chance he gets. He says that it's in the Bible that they're not. I've read the Old Testament and it says what it says. What about the New Testament? I've read the Old Testament and it says this. Well, what about the New Testament? The Old Testament says that. Blah, 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 blah. What about the New Testament? Huh? There's a new one? I'm not into the new stuff. I'm an old school guy. I drink Milwaukee. Old Milwaukee, because it's called Old Milwaukee. I was the president of the Old Fogies Club when I was 17. And they were all in war. Every one of these people were in war, and they liberated camps, even the women. I was there. I saw it. I liberated the camps. Grandma, you're like 70. I think you were older. Yeah, I was there. I was a nurse. Yeah, I was a nurse. I liberated a bunch of them. There was 8 million Jewish people. I was there. Me and your grandpa, that's how we met. I thought you were working in a brothel. I would never do that. I would never do that. I would never do that. I'm perfect. I've never said a cuss word, shit, ever. Nothing. Not damn, not shit, not that. None of it. I'm perfect. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's weird because there's like 120,000 people from World War II that liberated camps. I'm trying to think maybe the numbers aren't adding up. I had my friend, he's a good friend of mine. He's like, that shit happened. My grandpa delivered the camp. Yeah, I know your grandpa. Everybody's grandpa liberated camps. Everybody. Gen X. If you're a Gen Xer, your grandpa liberated camps. Your grandpa could have been in prison during the time, but somehow he astral projected. He left his body and he went to Bergen-Belsen and he was there. He was with Patton and he liberated the camps. Really? And every one of the tiny hats was in the camp. And now they're saying, this is true. You think I'm joking? Now they're saying that it's their bloodline. Through their bloodline, they have anxiety disorder, right? I just think it's psychosis because they're crazy. But they said because that their bloodline, that's what they said. Their children and their children's children are suffering from the camps. Yeah, that's what's happening now. So because of that, though, they have to go and they have to kill as many women and children in the Levant as they can, whether it's in Lebanon or Iran or Palestine. They got to, it helps to the anxiety disorder from their great grandparents in the camps. All 12 of them, right? Because if it happens to one, it happens to all of us. Bullshit. All this. We got to stand with. What is this we shit? What do you mean we got to do something about this? We got to go help Ukraine. We got to go help Israel. For what? Who's this we? Is we in the room with us right now? It's these MIGAs, man. These MIGAs be crazy, yo. Are they going to change the color of the hat now? Is it going to be blue? Make Israel great again with the star and the blue? MIGAs be crazy, bro. I'm telling you, man. Can't go nowhere. And MIGAs be wild now, man. Yeah, see? Learning. He just says it right there. That's funny. MIGAs be wild. It's true. Let's call them migas. So nobody gets confused. I think we're using the N word. Let's just call it miga. Like migas is a delicious Mexican dish, and it's wild, man. Let me tell you. That dish used to support Trump. Now, it's still follows Trump, but it only follows him to Israel. These are kosher migas, right? It is what it is. We have fun here. We have fun. We're having fun here, right? Over here at the Random Files. Because the moon landing, right? What's wrong? Well, when Kenny was young, he drank a bottle of fluoride. He's been like this for years. The only thing he responds to is if you give him a hot pocket and put on the moon landing, then he comes to life a little bit and will babble a few words. Really? Yeah. Yep. Or if you put him on a documentary about the 6-Day War, he just comes right to life. Well, let's see if we can make him. Let's see what we can do. Let's put on the VHS tape here. See what's happening, Kenny. And I'm not talking about one of my witnesses recently. It was a guy named Kenny. I'm not talking about him. The name was in my head because probably the show. But so here's Kenny. Oh. That's one small step for man, one big freaking lie for mankind. What a big, fat, effing lie. Yeah, the therapist says if we play this on a loop nonstop, he might become verbal again one day. Yeah. Yeah. He likes to watch videos of World War II too. He likes those where we're triumphant and he likes speeches by Churchill, things like that. We're hoping that eventually he'll be verbal again. It didn't help that he somehow, during the blank-demic, he found his way to the JAB, and he's had 14 of them now. Also, you need to put his mask on because he'll start to he could become violent without it. I'm just joking, folks. This is all for entertainment purposes only. Don't believe none of it. It's all just for entertainment purposes only. We are only joking. This is all just a fun time, right? That's all we're doing. Ha ha. You know. And sorry, I don't want to piss off Islam too bad because I don't want them coming after me with a curvy sword and Allah Akbar, on me. Durka Durka, Sherpa Sherpa Allah. I don't want that. I don't need that in my life. I don't need the trouble there. Polak, how could you say that? I kill you. I said this to one of them the other day. I was like, halal is the same as kosher. No, no, it is okay. We kill the cow the same way. We kill the chicken the same way. Okay, it is exactly the same, but we pray to Allah. Yeah, and that just means Lord. They pray to Baal, Allah, whatever. Remfan, Malak, what's the difference? No, no, it's just different. Your religion is exactly the same. It's a carbon copy of it. It was created by them. No, no, hold on. I kill you. Sorry. Sorry, man. Sherpa Sherpa, Durka Durka Allah. Sorry. I don't want to piss you off. Because you might try to, take my head away from my body. And if they get enough of them in an area, then you get Dearborn. But won't say anything because then you'll be in trouble. You can't say anything. But yeah, that's a problem. People don't see this as a problem. They don't see these people as a problem, and you don't like them in your neighborhood, and you don't want them doing all this crazy shit. Who do you think made it happen? Well, the liberals, the left. Who created the left? Who are the liberals? I bet you a lot of people believe that Mamdani, whatever that shit is, I bet you believe he's Muslim, don't you? I bet you really didn't know that when he became mayor, he was celebrated by the tiny hats. Why was that? I'll let you do your research on that one. There's a reason. Mondummy. Yeah, exactly. Well, Christian, by your very first name, you're just right out. And it's even worse if you're straight. Okay. So you have nothing important to say. We'll be talking on the Random Files on Rumble, and I will be doing an unapologetic history on the opium trade. Who do you think created the opium trade and opened it up to the West? I bet you probably don't know this, do you? You probably don't know. Why were they smoking that shit when they came to the New World, when they came to the West, to the United States? Do you know who is responsible for that? He's one of them too. It's crazy, dude. I'm telling you, all roads lead back to the same 6 points. Everything bad, everything. I promise you, it doesn't matter what it is. You look it up, it'll go right back to them. I promise you. Radical Islam, them. Communism, them. Liberalism, them. I promise you, everything. This ridiculous brand of conservatism, the MIGAs, yeah. Anybody who says, hey, maybe we shouldn't be like this. You evil piece of crap. You anti-might. You're a horrible person. Now you have the numbers. Literally, it's like something like 80% of the poll that I was just reading. It was a poll, and it just was on Instagram. 80 something percent. I can't remember. It was Tucker Carlson or somebody. And then they said of the boomers, they all love them. They believe everything they do is the best, right? They're the ones that believe that Islamic robots are coming to eat their medication. With the Gen Xers, it used to be about 40%. Now it's almost 60% of us know that they're full of shit. And the younger generation, the millennials, they're at 75% sick of their shit. And the ones below them, it's like 90. So tick tock, tick tock. When the boomers are gone, who's going to be left to protect your parasitic ass? And then you'll be playing the game because they're looking at the clock. What time is it now, Mr. Wolf? Time is running out. Because eventually people are going to know that you're behind all of this. When you have male versus female, black versus white, left versus right, Republican versus Democrat, and you pit everyone against each other, that's just communist, everybody, and they're always fighting and everything is blah, blah, blah. What do you think is going to happen? Eventually, something has got to give. And then some people like me, they stop fighting and they look and they go, why is this guy pulling the strings? Why are they behind everything bad? Why do they run every financial institution? Why are they behind everything bad? The people that own Pornhub, OnlyFans, they have turned our women into prostitutes and that it's okay. And they have made our men evil. They support PDFs and all of the other bad things that you can think of. You can commit random acts of violence and do whatever the hell it is. Who cares? It's all part of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Right? And the whole time you have the boomers up there. Oh yeah, they're bad. Yeah, they're the best people, Billy. God bless the Chosenbergs. They belong in charge. They know what's going on. People didn't realize that the puppet show Dark Crystal was actually a documentary. That's why there was only one season of it. I talked about this on the show with Paul Wallace. We were on Jason Bland's show one night, and Paul Wallace said it. He was like, Dark Crystal. I saw that right away. Skeksis. And the Gelflings, so stupid. Oh, they're our lords. So we're supposed to go and fight and die in a godforsaken desert over something that does not amount to a hill of shit. Iran has been getting the nuclear weapon since I was a baby, since I was born. Like, I remember watching this as a kid. They're only 2 minutes away from getting a nuclear, 1995, 2 years away from getting 2005, 2 years away. Man, shut up. It's been 2 minutes to midnight forever, and this hasn't happened. Right? Because maybe it's not that way. But if I say something about it, I get in trouble. I get messed with. I get told I'm a bad guy. Go and watch the episode I did here on Random Files. Y'all want to laugh. That was about a startup company. That was a true story. Now I made it very humorous. You'll laugh your ass off, especially if you're a conservative and you understand how crazy they are. I'm wearing a sad face. No shit. Because your company's going under, right? Because you overspent, because socialism doesn't work, dumbass. Because somewhere, somehow, the money has to come. It's something that socialism has not been able to understand. Hey, Brandy, Lawns of Booze, what's going on? Welcome. Unbelievable the kind of garbage that these people peddle into our brains, and we're supposed to sit here and just take it. And like I said, the smooth koala brain people, they'll tell you what they think happened to JFK. The book is a conspiracy said, blah, blah, blah. The moon landing really happened in 1969. JFK was doing Another unforgivable sin. Besides telling Israel, I'm not going to give you the nukes, he also said we got to audit the feds. That's coming straight from Joe. The bootlegging, gun-running, IRA, fun-loving criminal, Joe Kennedy. We got to get ourselves off of this. He worked on Wall Street. He told them, all of his friends, it's not going to work. It's all fiat money. We need gold. It's got to be there. We need to be on the gold standard. And his son took it to heart. His son was like, we have to audit the feds. We need to get ourselves. People don't realize that Nixon was paying attention to Joe, to John, to Robert. They would have killed Nixon. He was a good president. People don't realize this, but they couldn't. They had just killed John earlier in the decade. You can't just kill another guy. Take a little break, you know. Who was it? That shit ass that was involved in it. LBJ, Potato Head, and then Ford, and then Nixon. So what do? Well, you disgrace him. And then he's over there. I am not a crook. He wasn't. He agreed to the bugging of the Watergate Hotel. They tricked him. Kissinger. He said, "Oh, what we need to do? We need to bug that hotel." And they did. And then he turned him in, and then boom. And of course, he gets away with it because he was the most powerful man in Washington, Kissinger. And you know what team he was playing for. Okay, so here's what happens. They get rid of him. Why did they want to get rid of him? Because he said that he wanted to see the gold in Fort Knox. He was flirting with the idea of getting us back on the gold standard like John. And you know what else he was doing? He wanted to reopen the Kennedy files. He wanted to know who killed John. Poor bastard died babbling things to people. I'm not a crook. I just wanted the truth. Yeah, you did, Nick. You did, didn't you? But you can't have it. This is a matrix. And Jesus tells us it's run by the Shaitan, by Satan. It's his world. It's not a just world. It's just a world. And we don't own it. God's letting us live by his grace, going through the troubles and trials we are, and we're being purified. He's smithing us like silver. Can we return to the source? Are we pure enough? But when you have people that make you hate them, it's really hard. So you have to forgive them. I can't bring myself to fully embrace these people because I think a lot of them are just phony NPC, not even real beings. They're just evil stumbling blocks. But I can bring myself to forgive them, and I can bring myself to not hate them and love as many people as I can, because Jesus says love covers a multitude of sins. You know what he means by that? He means that if you are forgiving and loving enough, when you die, a lot of this other stuff is just fluff. You've sinned. You feel bad about it. You've repented. It's just hard for people. But you have to forgive. Even the hardest people, they're the hardest ones to forgive. Those are the ones that you most need to forgive. Try to forgive them, the evil bastards of the world. I despise certain people, FDR, Churchill, the scumbags that left our world in shambles by doing what they did. Stalin. These are the people. They did the horrible things that they did. And we're left shaking our heads, and thinking, man, we really screwed up. If only we would have had better leaders. If only we would have had people who were righteous and good. And they destroyed the old world to reset it. That's right, Brandy. They're all on a string, being pulled as needed. And Lenny says the Lord's Prayer includes forgive us our trespasses, we forgive those who trespass against us. Oh, yeah. And Christian says don't forget Mao and Pol Pot. Yeah. Certain people, the verdict is still out. It remains to be seen if they were as evil as we were told. I can tell you this. Yeah, 2 world wars to destroy the old world. That's what they did. I can tell you. I was just about to say that. I can tell you this. They did these wars so they could get rid of something, the past, and then whoever wins controls whatever. And now we're living in this nightmare where we, the smart people, have to deal with the mouth breathers who believe that the moon landing was real. And the reason that they don't go there now is because they don't call from there, because the cell phone service doesn't work, because there's no cell towers up there. Because back in the 60s, we still had the phones with the cords, right? In 1969. And so we had a super duper really long cord that they brought with us, and they left the bottom of it in Houston at NASA, right? And so when the shuttle got up there, the astronauts were like, let's plug in the cord. It's only 1,000,000 miles. So we made a super duper cord. Yeah, my dad's best friend's uncle's grandfather's house sitter's dog catcher's friend. Yeah, he was the guy that his company made that really long cord that stretched all the way from Houston to the moon. And so he got really rich on that contract. It was such a long cord. It took him like 12 years to make. And he got, I'm just waiting for somebody in a bar to say something like that one day. I don't drink anymore, but you just go in there to eat some wings or something, and some dumbass is over there. Well, my cousin's uncle's friend's dad's housekeeper's dad, he's the one who's made the cord that stretched all the way. Once his company shut down, man, nobody could do it. That's why they're there. And there's some girl going, really? Wow. You're so smart. Let's go home together. Yeah. Because it's hookup culture everywhere, and it's all good. It's just the truth. Somebody's believing that bullshit. But you can't convince these people. Can't convince them. I told people to buy gold and silver, but what did I know? And now you need to buy it again because it's gone down. And I get people messaging me, gold and silver just bottomed out. What are you going to do now? Smart guy. Buy the shit out of it, dumbass. You don't understand about buy low and sell high? Well, you know what that means? You understand? This is your opportunity. Do it. It's just the truth. And I tell people things and they do not do it because they are not smart. But they judge and they be condescending and passive aggressive, whatever. I'm never going to be passive aggressive with you. I'm just going to tell you what the hell it is. And if you don't like it, you don't like it. But at least with me, you know where you stand. If you're a stupid jackass and that's who you're being, I'm going to tell you that's who you are. That's who you're being. I'll never bluff you and pretend. I'm just going to be who I am. And while some will rejoice and others will gnash their teeth, it's a fact that I will be here doing this show just as long as they'll let me. And I'll be doing it on Rumble where we get really nasty and deep. And I'll be doing Paranormal Roundtable, and I'm going to go do True Crime Paranormal on Rumble and Spotify. because they give me a better deal. So that's all I have to say for tonight. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everybody that donated. The first donations of the entire show. Rick Dalton, Bobby Yaga, and Art Trooper. Art Trooper was the first one. Art Trooper 1174. He was our first donation for the show. Pretty damn awesome. And it is 3:30 in the morning, so 52 people. I'm not expecting a packed house. You know, Tiger Uppercut says, I can't wait for Josh and Dick to talk on Rumble. Yeah, we'll get Dick on there too. And we'll go to Rumble, and we're going to have Anna Choate on there, hopefully, but she'll definitely be on this channel, and Anna will be my co-host. And we're gonna do what we do. And on True Crime Paranormal, it'll be Rain, Anthony, and Maddie, and we'll be back at it talking about serial killers and all that stuff. But yeah. And tonight, coming up tonight, we don't have a show on Paranormal Roundtable, so I might just jump back on and talk maybe later in the evening. I don't want to step on Abe's toes. I know he goes on real late, but maybe I can catch it before he goes on or maybe after. But I'm going to do the Random Files again soon, and I'm going to start setting up shows with Anna, my co-host. And then I'm definitely going to be on tonight on the Lost Encounters on Patreon. Join Patreon, $10, $20, $30, $40, $50 tier. Each tier gives you a bigger, better swag bag. You get your first swag bag after 2 months, and then every 6 months after that. Sending me a correspondence about that isn't going to do you a lot of good unless I catch the email, because I get a ton of them. You might catch me, you might not. So send it to giveaways at prtpodcast.com. I will put the banner on here so that you can send it to, there's the Patreon right there. Patreon. And there's the giveaways. So join the Patreon on Paranormal Roundtable if you're a paratrooper, and make sure that you like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that when I go on, I'm probably going to be doing some shows during the afternoon and early evening, probably before anybody else gets started. I'll probably be doing this, and then I'll do the Paranormal Roundtable at night if my voice holds up. And tonight we're going to be talking about the Chupacabra. We're going to be doing Santiago's encounter from Cuba. And thank goodness I got a hold of Stefano, and he was able to give me some pretty cool stories out of Cuba from his grandparents' era. So thank you to everybody. And there again, it's the Cubans lived under communism. They've suffered immensely for that freaking horrible ideology. So we'll see you. Okay. Good night.